You sat in your car for 11 minutes yesterday after the conversation ended. You did not drive. You replayed it. And this time you said the thing you should have said, and it landed perfectly. And they had no answer. You did not lose your temper. You loaned it out, and nobody returned it. Around 45 AD, a Roman named Seneca wrote 3 volumes on exactly this. Not a passage, not a chapter. A book called De Ira, on anger, written for his own brother, because his brother asked him how to stop. 7 rules from it. And the 5th one is the reason most men never get free of this. One thing before we start. Do not listen to this like history. Listen as though every rule is describing something you did this week, because a man wrote this 2,000 years ago about his brother, and it will describe your Tuesday more accurately than you are going to be comfortable with. Rule 1. Seneca's first move into ira is one almost nobody makes, and it is the reason the rest of the book works. He denies that anger is an emotion that happens to you. His account has 3 steps. Something happens. You form the judgment that you have been wronged. And then, this is the part everyone misses. You agree with that judgment. Only at the 3rd step does anger exist. The impression arrives without permission. The agreement does not. But a decision that fast may as well be a reflex. Rule 2 is where Seneca puts the gap in. Rule 2. Seneca's most practical instruction in the whole work is one word: delay. Anger's greatest remedy, he wrote, is delay. Ask it at the start, not for pardon, but for time. Not suppress, not breathe through. Postpone, because it peaks fast and decays fast, and everything you regret was said inside that peak. Concretely, when it rises, you say one sentence and one sentence only. I'll come back to this. Then you leave the room, or the chat, or the call. Not forever, for an hour. You will never win the argument at full heat. You will only win the version of it that happens an hour later. But the hour only helps if you know what you are actually angry at. And you almost always have it wrong. Rule 3. Seneca gives a piece of advice in the 2nd book that sounds pessimistic and is actually a form of relief. Tell yourself in the morning, he says, that today you will meet people who are ungrateful, greedy, dishonest, and rude, and that none of this is remarkable. Look at your own anger honestly, and you will find it underneath every time. It is not he was rude. It is he was rude and he should not have been. The wrongness is not in the event. It is in the gap between the event and the world you had privately expected. Anger is the sound of your expectations breaking, not the sound of the world going wrong. Now, even with the delay and the expectation set, something in you still wants to hit back. Seneca has an answer for that, and it is the one modern advice gets exactly backwards. Quick one. If you have ever sat in a parked car replaying a conversation that was already over, type car in the comments. Just so you can see how many men did that this week. Rule 4. Seneca is blunt about this, and he was 2,000 years early. Anger, he says, is fed by its own expression. Let it out and it does not empty. It rehearses. Each retelling files off the parts that complicate it and polishes the parts that justify you. You are not processing it. You are editing it into a better weapon. So the rule, you get one telling. One person, once, to work out what to do. After that, the file is closed. And if you notice yourself opening it for the 4th time with a 3rd person, understand exactly what you are doing. You are not seeking advice. You are seeking agreement, and agreement is what keeps it alive. Now, the rule this whole video was built around. Because everything so far manages anger, and this one removes the ground it stands on. Rule 5. Here is what Seneca actually thought anger was, and it is not what you have been told. He did not consider it a strong emotion. He considered it a form of obedience. Think about what happens. A man says one sentence to you, and for the next 6 hours, your mood, your focus, your sleep, and your conversation with people who did nothing wrong, all of it is being determined by him. He is not in the room. He is not thinking about you. He is running your evening from a distance, for free, without effort, and probably without knowing. Anger feels like power because it is loud. It is the loudest form of being controlled. You ask, how many hours of my life is this person authorized to run? That question has an answer. It arrives quickly, and it is almost never the number of hours you have already given. 2 rules left. The first is what to do with the anger that is already inside you tonight. Rule 6. At the end of the 3rd book, Seneca describes his own practice, and it is the most specific thing in all 3 volumes. When the light was out and his house had gone quiet, he would review the entire day. Every word, every reaction, and examine it. Review your day deliberately at 9, or your mind will review it involuntarily at 2. You already review your day, involuntarily, at 2 in the morning, in random order. That is not review, that is an ambush. So do it deliberately, 5 minutes, on paper. Where did I get angry? What did I expect that did not happen? What will I do differently tomorrow? Then close the book. The closing is the mechanism. A reviewed day can be set down, 1 rule left, and it is not another technique. Rule 7. Look back at the 6. The decision, where your agreement gets given. The delay, becoming slower rather than calmer. The expectation, removing surprise. The venting rule, refusing to rehearse. The freedom rule, auditing who runs your hours. The nightly review, closing the day yourself. None of it was about controlling your temper. All of it was about who is permitted to move you. Seneca ends De Ira with the argument that life is too short for this, that men who will shortly be dust are ruining the little time they have over slights. Marcus Aurelius put the same conclusion into 1 line. The best revenge is to be unlike the man who did the injury, not to defeat him, not to correct him, to be unlike him, and to walk out of the room carrying nothing of his. Your challenge is 1 rule, not 7. Rule 2, for 7 days. When it rises, 1 sentence. I'll come back to this. Then you leave, 1 hour. That is the whole thing, and it is the rule Seneca considered the foundation of every other one. Then come back and comment delayed, and what happened in that hour. Most men report the same thing. The sentence they were going to send stopped being worth sending. And Rule 5 assumes you can sit with the feeling for an hour without discharging it somewhere. Most men cannot sit with anything for an hour. That video is on your screen now. 5 Stoic reasons being alone makes you unstoppable. I'll see you there.